Yo, what's up guys? Welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to go over the story of how I started my first D&D group, right? So, it was really early on in my college career. I think I was starting my sophomore year whenever my roommate over and over again asked me, "Hey, you should come play D&D with us. We've been having such a great time. You're going to love it. I swear you're going to love this game. I see you playing Final Fantasy all the time. I know you play Magic the Gathering. You got to come play D&D with us. We're having so much fun." He was telling me his stories of everything that was happening, and one day I was like, "All right, man. I'll sit in on your session, but I don't have a lot of time." I was a music major. I was doing a lot of rehearsals. I was up late practicing and stuff like that. And so I was like, I don't really have time for another hobby on top of everything else. And I was using a lot of my free time to play video games because when I was in college and I was done like with my homework, I just wanted to catch up on video games. But I went to a session and it was history was done. I was gonna be part of D&D from then on out. I made my first character and decided after a few months that I like this enough to where I want to be the writer. I want to run these games, and that's a huge commitment. That's a big deal. So at this time, I didn't have a lot of people that weren't in the group that I was playing with that would then have time to do another game per week, but I wanted to be running a weekly game, right? I was enjoying this so much that I was down to play in my game and run games, and that's what I wanted to do. I just wanted to enjoy D&D for everything that it was worth. We were playing Lost Mines of Phandelver, nothing too crazy, and so I didn't really have any ideas. I only owned the player's handbook. I didn't have all the extra stuff. I think I also had a copy of Xanathar's. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna run a game on the Sword Coast. We'll see what happens. And then I very quickly decided, no, I'm going to write my whole own setting. I started working on it. I started drawing up maps while I was in my statistic classes and stuff. It was a lot of fun to like make my own world. I'm sure plenty of you guys watching have had this exact same thing happen. So I needed players, and I'm at a college, so there's a lot of people around, and I vaguely knew a lot of people on campus, but I didn't know them as like buddies or friends or anything. I just knew people who I heard played D&D, or I knew they were in sessions with other people, but they weren't in my group. So one day, I am at the cafeteria, walking around, and I was sitting with my friends at first, and I was like, okay, I can see from here like 3 or 4 people that I know have been involved in Dungeons and Dragons in their lifetime. I'm just gonna go ask them if they want to play. Like, not really knowing these people super well. So I walk up to this one young guy who I was like, pretty sure I know this guy's gonna want to play because he was very gung-ho about everything D&D related. So I walk up to him, I'm like, hey, we don't know each other that well. Would you be down to play D&D? I've heard you played before. And he's like, oh my god, yeah. Oh my, thank you so much for asking me. He was so cool about it. There was a girl who I was very familiar with, and I was like, okay, I know she plays too. She's like 2 seats over. What about you? Would you be interested in playing? And she was like, I'm not really sure, but yeah, I want to say yes. And I was like, okay, well, just come to session 0 and you can see if that'll work out for you. The third person was someone who I actually thought he was like a Chad or like like a Brad, something like that. I was like, he was kind of jock looking, but you shouldn't let stereotypes get to you, because I asked him, I was like, hey, would you be down to play D&D? We're gonna be playing on this day. It's kind of the schedule of a couple hours once a week. And he was like, yeah, sure, I'm down, dude. Like, no questions asked. And he is one of my players now that has been in my games and has run his own campaigns with us for the last 8 years. So don't judge a book by its cover, guys. Definitely thought, I did in that moment, and I shouldn't have, because I just went to his wedding recently and we're still best friends. And then last but not least, he knew someone else that he invited to join the game. And this was my first time DMing, guys. I was not used to being the leader of a session in any way, shape, or form until like my DM at that time was coming to the sessions, and I was getting so self-conscious because I was kind of just making up what was going to happen week by week. Hey, you guys did this. Okay, you decided to go here. And then so on and so forth. They met up with like some tribes and fought some hags. They met up with, they sailed across the ocean all the way to this new continent away from the Sword Coast, and went on a couple magical adventures, which all coalesced to them meeting a dragon at the end and saving the world. cool. It wasn't anything crazy. It was like 11 sessions. It's just really funny to me that I would have the gall in those moments to just stand up and go, all right, I'm just going to go around and ask everybody in the cafeteria that I know if they'd be down to play D&D. And they were. It's really crazy because I know a lot of people struggle to get groups together, and maybe you're not in a college setting where you can just talk to whoever you want like that. But it ended up working out for me. So maybe just post an LFG on Reddit or maybe send a text in the family group chat that says, hey, who's down to play D&D? And someone's bound to join. All right, that's it from me. Just thought it would be fun to share how I started my first D&D group and how we've been going for almost a decade now. I'll see you guys in the next one.